Now that you've got the coolant bottle out of the way, I want you to go ahead and start moving on to getting the upper radiator hose off. You could have got it off first before you took the bottle. It would have been a little bit easier, but the thing is we need to drain the antifreeze out first. And it's easier with the bottle out of the way for you to access it from up above. So once you get the bottle out of the way, on the driver's side bottom corner, there is a radiator drain cock that you need to open up. Just make sure you get a catch pan up underneath to catch all the antifreeze that comes out. And once you've got that drained, we'll move on to getting the upper radiator hose off. That's why the overlap is like it is. You could have got the hose off first, but to get into the drain, you would have to get it from underneath. I don't see that taking the bottle off as that much of a burden without taking the upper hose at this point. So that's the way I did that, and then you can get to the drain from up above. And when it comes time to drain the radiator, there's a little red piece. Now that's all the way at the bottom of the radiator on the driver's side. That is your radiator drain. You will have to just back that off counterclockwise and then make sure you got a catch pan up under to catch any of the fluid. So that is your drain. It's directly where that coolant bottle was. Matter of fact, here's one of the tracks that the coolant bottle goes in. The coolant bottle usually would be right here where my hand is. It's directly below it. You can reach it from up under without taking the coolant bottle off, or if you've got it off, it's even easier to get from the top now. Make sure, like I said, you got a catch pan up under to open it for the coolant to go into when you open it. Upper radiator hose is held in place on this particular vehicle with a spring-loaded clamp. Now, if someone else may have put something else over time, this one still has a factory spring-loader. Go ahead and pull it off. It's separate. Now here comes the hose as far as when you're pulling it loose. Now we got the coolant drained out when we pick up the hose. Pick it up, lean it back, and out of our way for now. Now this harness right here related to the fan. Yeah, where it plugs in right up here, where there's a almost like a resistor type assembly here that's cooled by the air, and you've got down here where it connects into the fan assembly itself. We've already released one side. We pulled some of the fasteners off to keep it routed, and we do have the one right here on the fan itself. And like I said, we have the fingers on the side. We're going to have to squeeze to pick this fan assembly up. So we'll grab that harness that goes to the fan. We'll follow it around the shroud. We'll try to work it off the best we can. Off this shroud. There we go. We got one of them. We got another one we got to deal with. And then we got a connector further down for this fan that we've got to release as well. Now when it comes time to release and pull up on the shroud, this is all that keeps it snapped in. You push in on this finger. When you push in on that finger, you can pick up on the shroud. We got one on the driver's side, one on the passenger side. That's all it is. It slides in the little fingers here and snaps in place, and this finger comes out and blocks it. You got to push in on this side and the other side. When coming up with the fan, it can be a little tight because you still got some brackets on the front trying to make contact with the fan. You need to make sure you pay attention to the radiator neck. Make sure you pay attention to that right there, that nipple on the front where that overflow bottle went. Alright, we got it up pretty high. Probably enough to go ahead and get to the connector for the fan. Now this connector on the fan now we got picked up. Just do two-stage lock like always. Pick up on the centerpiece. Once I'm there, go ahead and squeeze in on the middle. And there we go. I've now got all the electrical unplugged from the fan assembly. Now that it's unplugged, now we just got to work on taking our time and working this past the brackets. Get it up so I get enough clearance. Watch where we're at. There we go. The fan assembly's out of the way. And this is one of those brackets I was telling you about. Now they're both identical. This one has a harness attached here and here. If you see where it turns, it kind of makes an S. Once it goes down, it gets flat, and it's got a studded bolt on this one. Now this one right here is the one towards the front of the engine as far as where the pulleys are, and it's only held on with the studded nut. The other one actually has a coolant hose going to it with a bracket, so you'll have to take a nut and the stud loose. So this one we'll just get on here for a deep 13 millimeter. If you want to try ratchet wrench, it's fine, and go ahead and back it off. Now like I said, the two brackets. This one's already loose, bolt's already out. This one's the next one. Like I said, I've got a coolant hose that runs from the back of the engine heading towards the front. It's got a nut on there, so I'm going to back off on the nut. may have to use your actual ratchet with a 13mm. If you can get your ratchet wrench on there, great. There we go. We're going to get the nut off first. I'm going to pick up on the hose. There's the nut. Got to position the hose out of my way so that I can get down onto the actual bolt. Now the bottom back corner of this valve cover has a 8mm studded bolt that sticks up that helps route this harness. Now I've got to get the harness off. Should be able to just pull straight up. You have to work with it a bit. There we go. Kind of reposition it. Now I've got to work around to the side too because it also snaps on this other corner. So I've got it off the stud. Now I got to get it off this back corner by using our typical tools we use. Try to get the fasteners off because it's just routed in place of using like a Christmas tree fastener. Now when it comes down to the valve cover, we've already got access to the top. We've already loosened up the brackets on the bottom. We've repositioned the wiring harnesses on the back side and front side. So now we have access to all the 8mm bolts and the studded bolts. We'll go ahead and start backing them all off one by one and get them to where they're completely loose. Now when I get ready to take the valve cover off, I'm leaving the cam phaser actuator / solenoid still attached to the valve cover. So they got little pins that come through. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up on the valve cover, back side, and once I got it broke loose, I'm going to go ahead and go towards the front slightly and then up. That way the pins clear everything as far as the phasers and where they are inside the valve cover, and I'm going to pick it up and come up with it. Alright, now we got the valve cover up. Got the gasket where it's come off and might be stuck to the head in places. Pick it up. So that's where those two cam phaser solenoid / actuators are. You can actually see the back side where they protrude through little pins. They get actuated. So right here is your 3.6 liter valve train. This is cylinder 2, 4, and 6. You've got your intake camshaft here. You've got an exhaust camshaft here. You've got a intake cam phaser and exhaust cam phaser. Now the cam phasers, what their job is depending on how it's controlled and when it's controlled, you can actually vary the camshaft position with the gear. Just minimal, but enough that at different operating speeds you might get better fuel efficiency or maybe better power, depending on how it's programmed and the way they want it to operate. But these are controlled. They are controlled by that cylinder that presses in on the end. So what you need to do is, while you're looking, you need to go down through the valve train, look at each one of the cam lobes, make sure nothing's worn or sharp, make sure it looks like all the lifters are still in their bores fine, nothing's cracked, make sure that the rocker arm assembly that's sandwiched between the camshaft and the lifter looks to be good, nothing excessively loose. Just do a good visual inspection. And then what we'll do is we'll work on removing that spark plug out of number 2. We'll hook up our cylinder leak down tester, and we will also make sure that the camshaft is in such a position that both the intake and exhaust valves are closed. You cannot get an accurate test if they are not closed. Let me stress that over and over again.